UEFA has officially dropped their disciplinary action against the remaining teams within the European Super League: Juventus, Real Madrid and Barcelona, the three amigos. Hey there, I'm Adrian and welcome to Rabona TV. A quick video today. We gotta mix it up with the long vids and the short ones. And we'll just go through why UEFA dropped the disciplinary actions against these clubs, the legal reasons as to why they dropped their suit against them, and why they are appealing to have a Spanish judge removed from the disciplinary case, and what does this mean for both UEFA and the Super League going forward. Let's go. Sources in the description as per. And yes, Plantini is in recovery right now. He's in intensive care. These emperor palms, man, they die so easily. You guys will know the story of the European Super League, or ESL, by this point. Some of football's most elite clubs, in most cases at least, banded together under the leadership of Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus to form a new league that would essentially take much of the value away from the Champions League and make it an inferior competition to that of the Super League. It would provide basically a financial bailout's worth of cash for the founding clubs of the ESL, which was quite lucrative for them, but fan backlash caused most to pull out of the competition, all but Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus. All of the clubs that pulled out were forgiven, in a sense, by UEFA, as their requirements for re-entry into the Champions League was an extremely minor blow for the clubs, a small payment, etc. But all along, Florentino Perez, who became the de facto face of the European Super League, stood by his assertion that the European Super League was completely legal, and that UEFA and any other entities had no right to punish them for creating the league, nor could any of the leagues punish the clubs by banning them from competing in domestic competitions. Perez stood by that the entire time. Despite this, Alexander Ceferin and UEFA said that they would push ahead with punishing the rogue clubs that were refusing to leave and subsequently dissolve the European Super League. UEFA basically was saying to the clubs that they must dissolve the league or else face bans from UEFA competitions and massive financial sanctions as well. So how did this play out in the courts? Was Perez right about the European Super League being protected in court along with the member clubs of the breakaway league? The first blow that came in UEFA's pursuit to punish the three clubs, we'll call them the Rebel Alliance for fun, came on June 7th, 2021. The Swiss Justice Ministry, the justice ministry from the same country that UEFA operates out of, sent a warning to UEFA that if they are to go ahead and try to sanction the Rebel Alliance, they will not have a legal foot to stand on. According to Cadena Ser, the Spanish radio station, they broke that both UEFA and FIFA received a letter from the Swiss Magistrate saying that they simply do not have the capacity to retaliate against the Rebel Alliance. Here's an excerpt from that article on AS. In the letter, the Swiss Magistrate, which has power over both governing bodies, argues that FIFA and UEFA are restricting innovation, preventing other formats, eliminating competition, and limiting consumers' choice by opposing alternatives to their own competitions. Now the key there being that the Swiss Magistrate has power over both UEFA and FIFA, which are located in Switzerland, as you know. This came from the Swiss Magistrate after a Spanish judge, Manuel Ruiz de Lara, had previously come to the same decision as the Swiss in a case prior. Clearly, this letter from the Swiss Magistrate will have caused UEFA to pause and collect themselves, as 48 hours later, on June 9th, 2021, UEFA announced that they would be putting the disciplinary proceedings on hold for a while. This brought up the question as to whether FIFA and UEFA hold an illegal monopoly or would be enforcing an illegal monopoly surrounding who is permitted to organize competitions. Let's jump ahead a few weeks, and again, a Spanish court ordered UEFA to cancel any sort of legal sanctions toward the Rebel Alliance. Realizing now that some may view the three clubs as more of the empire than the Rebel Alliance, but hey man, you choose your own adventure. The Spanish court, as I was saying, ordered UEFA to drop all legal sanctions and fines back on July 1st, 2021. Here's part of the press release via Reuters. The court also told UEFA not to take any steps to try to exclude the three clubs who were the last ones standing from the 12 teams originally behind the breakaway league from its different competitions, including the Champions League. The Madrid Commercial Court ruled that UEFA cannot enforce the organizers to formally dissolve the Super League and blocked the body from imposing a €100 million fine on clubs that sought to join the breakaway. And so we come to the present, where less than 24 hours ago, UEFA announces that they abandoned all sanctions toward Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juve. Here's what they said. UEFA will inform the Madrid court of the decision not to pursue its current legal proceedings against the three clubs still involved in the Super League: Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, FC Juventus. UEFA respects judicial processes, and after reviewing it, the view is that the prosecution of these ongoing proceedings does not serve the best interests of UEFA or its member associations at this time. UEFA firmly maintains its position on the Super League and the actions of the clubs involved. UEFA's decision not to pursue these ongoing legal proceedings has no impact on this in any way. UEFA will continue to fight to do whatever it takes to stop the Super League and any form of breakaway league, including any attempt to call into question the Super League's own plans. This includes the potential restart of legal proceedings. The disciplinary proceedings are, quote, null and void, as if they had never been opened. Two things that jump out to me: the final sentence of the first paragraph, in which they say that they have reviewed everything and they are basically admitting that as of now they have no plan of attack that would end with a win for UEFA. They could go ahead with things, but they would end up losing. And this definitely gives the same vibe as UEFA being the first ones to run from the fight nursing a bloody nose. Probably a smart thing for them to do this time, but it's their second bloody nose in quick succession, actually. Manchester City put the work in and appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport last year, only for City to win their claim, in large part due to the evidence that was time-barred from the case, amongst other flaws in UEFA's case. They didn't have the power to do anything legally, and so City was welcomed back into the competitions. It was a messy case from UEFA, who should have seen that legally they didn't have a case against City and they shouldn't have pursued it. But if they didn't, they would have been come off as weak. And now, this with the Super League clubs, in which they are again forced to back down and allow the clubs to do as they wish. I'm not saying that they shouldn't fight for and defend themselves in their competitions, they have the right to do so, but when they are again outfoxed by some of the clubs, it comes off as, it could be seen as a bit weak. Now, what was their other alternative? That's worth questioning, as they didn't necessarily have great options at their disposal. They could stand idly by and do nothing, and they would look weak in the eyes of many, or they can at least announce that they intend on punishing the clubs, put in a half-hearted attempt for the optics of it, knowing they will pull out eventually, and still look weak in the eyes of many, when they have essentially kicked the backing out process down the line some. I guess they were sort of forced into doing that, So, UEFA has stated they will continue to explore their options. UEFA's next move has been to appeal that the Spanish judge who claimed their moves to sanction the teams involved were illegal. That's Manuel Ruiz de Lara. They want him removed from the case. UEFA has requested, quote, the recusal of the judge presiding over the current proceedings, as it believes there are significant irregularities in these proceedings. In line with Spanish law and in the fundamental interests of justice, UEFA fully expects the judge in question to immediately stand aside pending the full and proper consideration of this motion. And UEFA filed this appeal with the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, guys, that will be all for today. Just a quick one to bring us all back up to date on the ESL and the fallout from such. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, amongst other kinds of videos, then be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Apart from that, drop a like if you liked it to feed the algorithm, or a dislike if you didn't. My name's Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and we'll catch you in the next video. Ciao!